Welcome everyone to the SERL Domino's Pizza Truck Series Season 2 Race 14 at Kentucky Speedway. We have 37 trucks ready to take on this rough and tough 1.5 mile D-shaped oval where last season I felt like it was a combination of eventful and tame. And I know that in racing those two words do not really go together, but I think it was eventful in terms of the action that we had. Like we actually had like pack racing at Kentucky, and pack racing at Kentucky does sound a little unheard of, especially if you did not watch last season's race. But that's what we had, and I felt like it was tame in terms of like wrecks and just overall, not exactly a whole lot of like, oh my goodness, they almost wrecked, you know what I'm saying? And that race, it was also not exactly clear who was going to win, but on the final lap, and it was a one lap dash, it looked like Eric Omarhart. He had this in the bag, but then he got passed by Arch Hassan and won in a photo finish. And a photo finish was actually something that we saw in all three races last weekend at Bullet/Hartlepool. And who won that race? Biff Crafton. And that makes that win Biff Crafton's third win in the past four races. But the one race that he did not win, it was outside the top 30, I believe. So Biff Crafton, it's been mostly hits, but a couple of misses every now and then, and that's why he's not in the championship hunt. But if he does have another really good race, or just a solid race, he could be in the championship hunt, especially if some of the drivers ahead of him, such as the three drivers that I think we've talked a lot about this season, Mason Jefferson, John Worf, and Luke Walker, all have a stumble. And Mason Jefferson, he is our new points leader, and he has yet to win, but he has come close. And I think for him, consistency is really paying off. Right, and Johnny Worth is the other driver that we mentioned. He's had his ups and downs the past two weekends. One race he's the points leader, one race he's not. And then Luke Walker, he was very consistent early in the season, but has fallen off these past few weeks. And that happened to, I remember, a couple of our championship contenders at this point in season ago, and they would not eventually be up in the championship hunt. Now I know Luke Walker does not want that to happen to him today, so he's got to try his best to A, stay out of trouble, and B, finish great. Especially now that we are in the second half of the season, it is go time for drivers like Luke Walker. And I guess one driver that I should give a mention here is Abe Troxel in the 28. I feel like I've not really talked about this driver almost at all this season, but he's done a very nice job. He actually is in the championship picture, even though he's 29 points behind Mason Jefferson. He's 4 points, and so he's done a very nice job, and I feel like he deserves a little bit of camera time. But anyway, that's all I really have to say. So now let's get these trucks at Kentucky rolling off. Here is their Here is our starting lineup. So on the front row is Charles Belling and Baba Yuna. This is Charles Belling's first pole of the season, and he's currently 12 points after having, I think his first several races this season were pretty struggling. He has seemed to have found a little extra speed that has caused him to finish a little bit more better. And even though he won the championship last season, this race was actually one of his most struggling races. I think he was in the back almost all day, and that actually caused him to be in a crash, or led to him being in a crash, I should say. But we'll just see which of our championship contenders is going to thrive, and which one of our championship contenders is going to fall. And also, this is, I think, the only track this season where we will see both the bottom lane and the high lane work equally well. We can't really say that at any other track. But anyway, Charles Belling and Baba Yuna lead us to the green flag for the second ever time at Kentucky. LJ Mills looking to the high side. Sometimes the high side can give you a bit of advantage on the front stretch if you time it well. But for the most part, I don't think it really does work. And now Baba Yuna is now going to shuffle out of the way. And here comes Hayden Jefferson in 13, and he has his brother Mason Jefferson behind him. And now Mason Jefferson looks like he could be leading the first lap. Here comes LJ Mills to the bottom of him. And he's right on the bumper. And now look at here. Looks like LJ Mills will actually end up leading the first lap. It's a drag race to the start-finish line. and it was Elgin Mills. And behind them here, we are actually 4 wide here, but I think the caution's out. Yes, the caution is out here. Whoa. Okay, oh, I guess it looks like this crash happened off for Cameron Garlington, Andrew Gorman, Eric Almahart maybe, Luke Walker, maybe he might have gotten some damage in this, but it looks like it was a pretty small wreck from the looks of this. But anyway, now let's take a look and see what happened. In the middle of the pack, which is where Luke Walker pretty much started, Clef Crafter in the 82, who's actually one of our championship contenders, he was within a full race entering this weekend. He goes a little higher here, and Justin Thompson here, he looks to try to make a passer here, but he's too close to Club Crafton. They hook together here, and then Luke Walker gets turned. Bro Ketchuk also goes around after hitting Justin Palapis. And as you can see here, he's right up ahead of the field. Cameron Garlington, he's the one who hits him right here. Look at this. Luke Walker goes on his side. Philip Goldberg also gets involved. Ben Braley gets collected. So does Kendall Maynor. I think Andrew Gorman and Eric Almahart. I cannot really tell from this angle. Let's see. Do they get damage? Chances are probably some cosmetic damage from the looks of it. But it looks like that Luke Walker could be out, and maybe Ben Braley as well. You never know, because last week at Bullet / Harleypool, there were a couple of drivers where it looked like that, the cosmetic damage wasn't going to take them out, but it ended up taking them out. But anyway, now let's go on board some drivers. Let's take a look at this crash from an interesting perspective, which is the pit lane 2 camera. And I also don't think that this will be the only time that we have a flyback camera on the viewing the front stretch. We might see that a couple more times this weekend, because the front stretch does seem to be one of the biggest trouble spots. Man, it just seems like nothing can really go right for Cameron Garlington. He's outside the top 25 in points, and one of the reasons why that is because of getting involved in crashes like this. It looks like his day will be over once again. You could say that Philip Goldberg is kind of in the championship picture. He's not within a full race, but he is 7 points, not that many points behind a full race, and it looks like that that's going to be really hard, especially after taking a good lick in the nose. Cameron Garlington will be the only driver that will be out of the race. Luke Walker is the last driver, the last driver on the lead lap. And now, as we shift our focus back to the leader here, Elgin Mills is our leader. And this is a driver that has had some good runs, but hasn't been able to capitalize on it yet. Another driver that is just like that, Hayden Jefferson as well. He has been a driver that has also had some pretty good runs. I can't exactly remember what race he dominated, but it was a race. Maybe it was a race that was several weeks ago, but I remember him being very good, but he just wasn't able to capitalize on it. And behind him, Bobby Unit in 05. He's been more of a struggling driver than a driver that has had good runs and wasn't able to capitalize on it. And I just think that I just think that with him being outside the top 500 points, all at this point, all he can really go for is just to get the best finish he can, or maybe even win. But anyway, now, as it looks like, are we going to have a new leader? No, oh so close. Elgin Mills leads a lap, so he's led every single lap up until this point. That won't be the case this time, as now Lion Mills Jr., the 2-time winner, and Big Crafton, the 3-time winner this season, they are all of a sudden creeping into the picture. And now Lion Mills Jr., he goes to the inside of Hayden Jefferson. As we now go back in the field here to check on some more drivers. Johnny Wood from the 84. This is not the day. This is not the day that he needs right now. He's gonna have to hope today he can find a way to get himself up front. And Mason Jefferson, another driver that is also kind of sliding back into the danger zone as well. And so at this point, it looks like some of our biggest gators in the points as of right now would be Abe Troxell and Biff Crafton. But now it looks like here things are starting to maybe settle down just a little bit here. Not exactly as much 3 and 4 wide like we saw in the beginning of the race. But now as Bobby Una continues to lead, Lonnie Mills Jr. now looks to take the lead here, and he might be able to do this next time by. I think turn 3 and 4. I think it is a little bit more easier to make a pass in turns 3 and 4 than turns 1 and 2. But oh my gosh, you're behind them! Oh my gosh, a hook! Kenny Hamlin and Riley Smith, those appear to be the two drivers that got together, and that might actually stack up the field. As now all of a sudden, Jacob Reed is all over his back bumper, along with Payne Jefferson and Jim Kelly. Oh my goodness, that could have been really huge and really bad. But anyway, now all of a sudden, Bick Crafton and Blaine Keys are now starting to slide back just a little bit as Bobby Una continues to lead. Club Crafton and the 82. This is a driver that is starting to make some gains now. It looks like he could be inside. It looks like he'll be able to get himself inside the top 10 here. As the front three have really been able to separate themselves from the rest of the field. And I think a large part of that is just because Kenny Hamlin and Riley Smith hooked together in turn 3 and 4 a couple of laps to go. But now Payne Jefferson, he now goes to the inside of, I think that is Riley Smith. No, it's not. It's Jim Kelly. But here comes Club Crafton to the inside of him. So Club Crafton making some big gains right here already. And currently, right now, we saw this a season ago. There was just this super long green flag run in the middle part of the race. But then towards the end, there was a late race caution, and that's really what brought the field back up together. But anyway, as we now go into the middle section of the field, how about this Jimmy Johns? Jimmy Johns in the 50 truck, he really has not had that great of a season. He's 24 for points, and chances are, somewhere in my head says that he was really good early in the season, but I don't know why. I do think of that because I think it's been mostly a struggle for him in that team. But now here we go, 3 wide right here. Blaine Keys, Jacob Reed, Riley Smith. Jacob Reed, a driver that I think that we should give a little shout out to. He had a great finish last week. He was actually in contention for the win, but then lost it in the closing stages of the race. And the driver that almost passed Biff Crafton to win last week at Bullet/Harley-Pool was Ken Domino. He also got, I think, a career best finish last week at Bullet, and looks like maybe they are possibly continuing the momentum. They're kind of they're kind of sort of inside or around the top 15. But now, our leader continues to be Bobby Una as Lonnie Mills Jr. I think maybe he's just holding back right here, waiting for that perfect time. Elgin Mills in the 51. He's been in third place. Oh my goodness here. Biff Crafton and Kenny Hamlin here. They hook together once again. Oh my goodness. Another close call for Kenny Hamlin and Biff Crafton as well. But anyway, it looks like that maybe, while no one's catching the front two, it looks like drivers are catching Elgin Mills, and Saunders in the 0-2, he's catching him. Looks like now all of a sudden the trouble spot has shifted to turns 3 and 4. As Biff Crafton now has gone around Kenny Hamlin, as they now go through the dust and dirt. And also one thing they might have noticed in the sky. Oh my gosh, the lap tracker here, Luke Walker. Ooh, this could shake things up. Lap traffic has gone in the late drives before. Oh my goodness. Okay, it looks like everyone is able to get by Luke Walker here. So Luke Walker looks like it's going to be another very struggling and very miserable season for him. As all of a sudden we have kind of lost. The field has now kind of separated into a couple of packs. And Garrett Sinner kind of leads the second pack right here. Eric Almahar, Kendall Minor, Andrew Gorman, Cal Kaminsky, and they're all in this pack. And the Mason Jefferson, Johnny Urfer here, they've kind of fallen back as well. And even more cars are here. Ben Braley, Rowan Ketchum, and Philip Goldberg, which are way out of the pace here. And chances are, if we go green the next several laps, Bobby Una, Lonnie Mills Jr., they actually might all catch right here. But now it looks like these front two are actually starting to get invaded by everyone else. Okay, I thought I saw Payne Jefferson on the apron, but maybe he wasn't. But it looks like that the way things are going right now, it looks like Big Crafton is going to have, once again, another very good day. And chances are, with the struggles of Mason Jefferson, Johnny Worth, and Luke Walker, he could be right up in this championship hunt. And maybe another driver that maybe he won't be our points leader, but I think he'll be right up in there when we go to, I think it is Gateway next week, and Troxel. So, so watch out for both of those drivers in the next few weeks. But now all of a sudden here, LJ Mills, he has caught up to Lion Mills Jr. and Bobby Una along with Ann Saunders. And as you can see, Lion Mills Jr. he kind of does peek his nose to the inside, but I don't think he has exactly enough momentum yet. Let's see. Well, looks like he is starting to look inner here, but Bobby Una, he's throwing the block. And if he doesn't make his move, but if he doesn't make his move anytime soon, here comes LJ Mills. I think he'll be right there as well. But it looks like these two drivers have just been the most dominant drivers of the day. How close are they? They're kind of close. I think that they could catch this driver by lap maybe 25. That is if it stays green. But anyway, I think maybe Lion Mills Jr. might actually get some help right here from LJ Mills. As it looks like the field has once again continued to separate here. Whoa. Jacob Breed, Club Crafton. That's getting a little too close to here as Hayden Jefferson continues to slide back. Another driver that's also in this packer here, Riley Smith, 4. This is a driver that really he has picked up the pace, but for the most part, like I think Riley Smith is a good example of a driver where you can't start off your season on the wrong track and expect to still be sort of in the championship pitch, championship picture, or maybe even the top 15 points picture, because he had several struggling races and he still is outside the top 25 in points. But anyway, now it's just these two cars are here. They have now separated themselves from the rest of the field. And Saunders, he's slid back here. And now look at the 3 wide. Big Crafton, Dean Orden, Jim Kelly. It looks like Dean Orden, who was a driver that we did talk a lot about a season ago, but really has fallen off the pace here. He is 13th in points. And it looks like that for the most part, unless he really gets some great finishes, he'll be out of it. Whoa, Jim Kelly, Big Crafton. Oh, they actually made some contact here. Oh my goodness! I think it's Club Crafton and Kenny Hamlin. They also made contact here. Man, jeez. Man, just don't touch the bumper of the 94. As Big Crafton now, he goes to the outside. And on legacy here, we are now catching in the last. Sorry, I did not notice the 10-minute talent here. Wait a second, is the caution out? The caution is out. Oh my goodness, this is almost the exact same thing that happened a season ago. So either this race will end under caution, or we will get a 1-lap dash. But if you're at Bobby Una, you are possibly either in a really good or really bad position. What happened? Garrett Sinor. Ooh, looks like he has a lot of damage on the front of his car. Daniel Voiles. It looks like he was also collected. Anyone else? I really cannot tell where this crash exactly happened. But let's take a look and see what happened to Garrett Sinor and Daniel Voiles. I believe this group of cars is the 3rd pack, and Andrew Gorman and Daniel Voiles are here hooked together, but I think maybe Jason Columbus was possibly holding them up here. Daniel Voiles first goes into the inside wall, comes back across the racetrack here, and gets clipped from Andrew Gorman. Andrew Gorman also goes at the racetrack, and that's where he collects Kyle Kaminsky. But the impact that not only did Garrett Sinor go into the wall, but the impact that he took when Daniel Voiles hit him, or when he hit Daniel Voiles. I think that's who it was. Yeah, who it was. Yeah, that was a hard look there. Look at that. Both drivers go upside down. So yeah, both of their days will be over. And possibly Kyle Kaminsky's and Andrew Gorman's day. But anyway, now let's go on board some drivers. Kendall Maynor happened to be at the right place at the right time, but he was close. It feels like to me that Kyle Kaminsky is one of those drivers that we've not really talked about very much this season, and this is possibly why. I believe Daniel Boyles might had a wild ride last week at Bullet/Hartlepool, and he definitely just had a wild ride at Kentucky. That hit from Garrett Zinner is the one that set him on his lid. This race is officially over, and Bobby Una, who, while he didn't lead every single lap, led most of them, and he will go on to win the second ever SERL Domino's Pizza Truck Series race at Kentucky. So overall, just a dominating performance by Bobby Una, but there were also a couple of drivers that had some really strong runs, along with Lion Mills Jr., Eldon Mills, and Saunders, a driver that we really not talking about very much this season. He gets a great top 5. Dean Orton in the 74. That top 5 might actually get him back inside the top 10 points. And as far as the championship picture, I think that the biggest gainers were drivers that were not even our top 3 in points. Cliff Crafton, he finished 6th place. He finished in the 6th position, and he came in this weekend 5th in points. And then, even though maybe the finishes weren't exactly how well they actually performed, Cliff Crafton and Abe Troxell, those finishes are going to cause them to gain just a little or maybe a lot on our top 3 in points. And when we look at our top 3 in points after 27 laps, Mason Jefferson, our points leader, finished 26th. Luke Walker finished 33rd, and where did Johnny Ward finish? He finished 23rd. So yeah, not exactly a really good day for any of those 3 drivers. And hopefully, and the thing is, the later in the season we get to, you cannot afford those finishes, because if you do, you're pretty much going to be out of this championship picture, and it's not going to be. It could be almost impossible for you to get back up in the championship hunt. That's what I think that. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this race. Be sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and buy. Congrats to Bobby Una.